Hello and welcome back to The Itch, the show where I have an itch and I want to scratch it by playing, or I guess in this case, building? I'm your host, Joe Crazy, and I'm with...
Hello, I'm Glenn. You might have seen me in Crazy's VirtualScape videos, whether it be the custom unit spotlights or the tournament videos that he has on his channel, which if you haven't, you should check out now because we're going to be talking VirtualScape today.
Yes, HeroScape indeed. We're in VirtualScape. So I don't really know if I consider this a game or not, but it's definitely something I haven't done in a while.
In preparation for this video, I was looking at do's and don'ts of multiplayer maps. And it wasn't just for like HeroScape. It was just for multiplayer games in general, whether they be, arena shooters or like real-time strategy games. And it's really interesting how much overlap there is regardless of like the genre of game. Like how
I could
much
definitely feel that.
I guess in the vein of HeroScape, one thing I guess I know you do the same thing too, because I see it with all the maps that you make. Like there was like this huge emphasis on they called it resource management, but I guess in HeroScape it's a little bit different because there's no resources to manage. It's more like I guess it's more like obstacle and terrain management.
I mean, what do you mean resource management? Explain
Okay,
what you
so
mean by
like
that.
okay, so like in if anyone's played a map that was made on say Forge, for example,
Talk about
like
Halo's Forge for Xbox.
yes, or really any map that was made like by someone from the community. Like a good way to judge it is how quickly or how easily one has access to certain weapons, for example. And there are just certain elements of a map that can be easily exploited because either there's a really advantageous position that you would have no reason to leave, or there's always the place where like a really good weapon will spawn consistently in, and again there's no reason to, like, it would be strategically foolish to not take advantage of that. What can be deemed as a good map is a map that has either a lot of critical points, so you can have players like make decisions based on like the type of strategies they want to use. And obviously, like when you're dealing with like a game, obviously gameplay manages to is definitely the most important thing. But if everything is just like made to appease that and there's no consideration paid to the aesthetics of it, then you're gonna have a game that, like, it better be a really great like game experience, because otherwise you're not really getting much else from that map.
Right.
Yeah. It's possible to do both. It's just I guess it's like a difference. I guess it's a question of balance is what I'm trying to get to.
Sure. So I switched over to another map. This is a 3-for-all. I don't remember if
We might have played on this on it. Well, maybe not this type, like this map exactly, but we played on a version of this map. This is a good example of castle pieces doing something other than providing crazy height advantage, which I'm sure like anyone who's people who are watching this have made maps in VirtualScape probably already know this.
Yeah, I mean, just for simple cover, and sure, we have narrow passageways over here, which I'm still not a fan of because I want to make sure all figures can get through them. All figures can go through it. That's not what I'm saying. Like they can't fit in there, but it's just easy for our big hands, because a lot of us are adults now that play this game, can easily move our figures around with no problem.
It's really tempting, at least for me, to make a map that really has like really tight choke points, because like you can almost envision like really interesting fights happen, but it's almost like a gamble, because it's like you make a map in a way that's designed to be used a handful of ways that you imagine it being when you make it. But then like the worst thing ever is making a map and have like, imagine all these interesting scenarios happen with it's like, oh, he's going to use that bridge to do that, or this person's going to try to use these ladders in this way, and then have someone play it and it just either turns into just like a shooting gallery, or people just meet in the middle and just fight.
Viewers at home will automatically see the difference between how I would build a map and how Glenn builds a map are entirely different. Because
another thing too is that the first two maps you showed off, to be completely fair, were not finished yet.
Yeah,
so
they're not
I don't
finished.
Want to mischaracterize how you make maps.
But
This
wow,
map
I
is
don't
based
think.
off of an
Yeah,
MRI.
I don't think I've ever seen this.
No, no, I don't think you've seen any of these. These were ones that I made after we last shot a HeroScape video. So
Gotcha.
these are all relatively new.
Wow. I
Yeah.
love this. I
I
love
guess
this
I,
as a
I
three
guess to
player
do
map.
like an explanation on some of these, because again, I'm trying to catch myself up here. Yeah, so this is clearly meant to be a free for all map. It's designed to have glyphs in mind. I just didn't get around to putting glyphs in certain locations yet. You could kind of almost make out where they would go, like maybe putting some in like maybe the river or some on the beaches, towards the island in the middle. The whole thing that kind of keeps me in check is when I'm making a map, where's location makes the most sense to go to.
Mm,
I always find that in the games that we played, at least, that if it's a glyph, everyone goes for the glyph immediately, or if it's height, people go for that.
right.
Um, so it's a matter of, if you're going to make a map, once to give players options, and you are going to have glyphs on it, like maybe make it more of a I don't know, maybe force some decision making to happen.
Sure.
So with that in mind, I tried to make the center point the highest. So if you do want that height advantage, it's right in front of you. There's no navigation involved. However, if you want to be the first one to like land a hit on your opponent, you would have to navigate towards the sides, because that's the path of least resistance towards the enemy. Your play style should dictate what kind of army you take, not the map.
True.
Like, that's one thing I loved about. I really loved how you organized the tournament. Our first tournament was, you forced us to make a team, and we stuck with it, and we didn't know what maps we were playing on,
Yeah.
which was awesome. I really like that, because it forced us to commit to our decisions, and it forced us to make really like interesting teams that we would never have made if we were just playing a casual game. But it also forced us to like own those decisions when we got around to a map that maybe didn't necessarily cater to that specific build.
Hmm.
Whereas if we played a casual game, and you made the map already, we would obviously pick teams with that map in mind.
The center is definitely not the highest. It's the same level as your actual start zones, and not
Our
saying
balls.
you have to get up. You have to get up to at least this 3 point here, and you're already at level of center.
Well, that was an oversight.
That is an
That's for
oversight,
sure.
and that's something that you could change if you like. Otherwise, it doesn't matter to me if you took that away and kind of forcing the players to go to the center, because you already have the water as a deterrent. Because
Yeah.
if I didn't have fly, or if I didn't have somebody that had a water walk or swim or something to get across that easily, I might just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna take my army and just choose a direction. One, either go this way or go this way and just steamroll them.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Okay.
if I had a ranged team, then I'm like, you know what? I have no other choice. I need to get to the height. That's the only way I'm gonna win,
Yeah.
and that's based on your playstyle.
Yeah, the center being the same level, that was just, yeah, that wasn't that I'm glad you pointed that out, because I really missed that.
There is no incentive to go in the center because, like I said, the water is great because it's like, wow, I have to go through water, and we all know that you have to stop in water to get over there, and especially if you have one glyph in the center there and the height advantage, and that looks really, really good for a lot of players. Otherwise, I'm just gonna stay on the sides. We're looking at this right here. Is all around the map. It's the same height as the center in multiple different locations around the
Okay.
map. So even though if you have, cover or whatever, blocking the height advantage. So like even if you had, let's say, walls across this area here, blocking it off. So the only, like, let's say you took away this and then put, yeah, because I don't think you can go all the way.
I just realized too, I
Right.
completely forgot. If in hindsight, if I wanted to make the center more, like the center point of the map more, I guess, desirable to go to, I would have, well, now I'm thinking on it, used the bushes, like really
Yeah.
make it a defensible position.
True.
Yeah.
That would work too. Because then I'm like, oh, I'm getting a bonus and the height. I'm getting a defense bonus and the height. They have to come to
Right.
me. Like that's the thing.
Well, that's like sort of like the push and pull of like making maps that have a lot of those advantages. You know,
Right.
you want to reward the player to, if you have obstacles, you kind of almost, I feel like you should like reward them to for circumventing them and putting up with stuff like, you know, losing mobility with water or having to climb really high to get to the top of a mountain or whatever. Like, you want to give them a reason to go there, but at the same time, is it too much of an advantage at that point to say, okay, well, we're not going to really do much else for other points of the map that players aren't taking the time to get to, just because we want the players who do put in the effort to get to the most difficult point to feel, I guess, rewarded for that decision.
True.
That's all.
Because that
That's
would
always
fit
a,
into the
that's
name
always
of
a
the
thing.
map. Would be landlocked. You want them to be in the middle. That's kind of like part of the story too, is they're landlocked there. Once they get there, that is the most valuable spot. And it's not even just like, say, a giant tower or a giant mountain. It's just an island to
Right.
survive on, and they have everything they need to survive there. They got cover. You get an extra bonus from the bushes, an extra defense from the bushes for ranged attacks. So no matter what, they have to cross the river to get to you. There's no bridges, and you're getting height advantage. You're getting 1+ attack for your ranged characters and your melee characters if once they get there. So if you
Right.
can if you can, essentially, it's still a race to the center. Um, but then you're falling back into the same trap. I think that's why you have the height around in all locations, is so that you're forced. Your only decision is to go to the center. There is no other choice.
Yeah, it's inevitable that a person's going to find, if they have knowledge of the map going into it, like what's the best combination of units that can best take advantage of the terrain. But if you make that choice less obvious, then I feel like you're onto something. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if I'm playing on a flat map and I know that I'm playing on a flat map, then I know that if a person's taking an army that has to get to me to engage me, and there's nothing that they can do to say hide, for example, or there's no cover to take behind, then while they're coming to me, I'm just going to blast them with range characters,
Mm.
or have a map that's has glyphs that are very close to your start zones. Like, well, I'll just take some units that have a high degree of defense and go get the glyph on the first turn and just wait. Wait for the opponent to come to me. It's kind of hard to get out of that mindset when you're picking an army and you know what map you're going into. One thing that can make a map good, in my opinion, is have that decision be less apparent to you. It's like, okay,
Mm.
well, what army am I going to pick when I go on a map, on not this map in particular, but any map that I have knowledge on prior to playing it.
Road pieces on the side here, those match up with the same height in the center, but I now blocked them so that ranged characters cannot see them. They don't take any advantage. If you get to the center and you see people in your spawn, you can attack people in the spawn. They're not getting any extra height advantage. And anyone hiding on the side, it kind of forces people to then come out of the center if need be.
Like, it definitely it gives people that pick maybe less of a ranged heavy build, more options. I feel like it would be difficult to move your whole army one direction or another, so it might encourage you splitting up your forces a bit,
Mm.
going left and right as opposed to committing to one direction.
But I was almost thinking now, would it break the mold of the map or the net map name landlocked? If we added either one sand tile or make this section here one giant
Unconnected?
7. Yeah,
Huh.
because then there's a reason why people would want to be forced to come down the center where that center tree is to then fight to come to the center. they can either go in the water and spend a turn not doing anything, or kind of race to the center of where the tree is to fight to go across the sand dune to get to the center of the map.
Hmm. It's almost like directing traffic at this point.
Yeah,
There's another thing to keep in mind too is
sure.
like the economy of turns, like how much you can do in a given turn, or how much you could do over the course of like a round. And I almost feel like it would be, yes, you're taking a turn out to stop in water, but if you go straight down from where your starting point is to the water space to get to those big 7 outcrops, that almost might, depending on how fast your character is, of course, you could get to the center that much faster than having to navigate towards the edges and then get to that little land bridge.
Oh, I never said anything
Uh,
about getting rid of the battlements.
oh no,
No,
that makes it that much harder. I mean,
because the
like
incentive is not stopping a turn to go in the water. The incentive is that, oh, it's connected. That means I can just jump over there real quick, vault right over it and go over. But no. No, the battlements, I don't know if I'm assuming they're the same, but 1, 2, 3, 4. It takes essentially 5 movement to get around it. The trick is like, oh, it's connected. That means it's shorter.
okay, no, I get it. So like you're almost, because I know in our, like when we play on maps that especially maps made by me because I like water tiles,
Hmm.
um we tend to avoid water as much as possible.
Yeah.
So you're saying that by looking at where the island connects, players might feel inclined to completely bypass the objectively faster route
Which is
just so
going
they
through
can
the
avoid
water
water.
only to just
Yes.
go and, like, you know what? It's like, oh, you know what? It'd probably be a lot easier if I just go across the sand because, I don't have to stop an entire turn where I'm completely useless. And, now that we watch that, then you and I both know it's like, you know what? Just jump in the water.
Yeah, we ruined this map now.
Yeah, we ruined this map.
I forgot what developer did this, but it might have been Rainbow Six Siege. They would do almost like a heat map of their multiplayer maps to show like where their players go.
I
Um,
think every developer does that, and if they don't, they're
okay,
retarded. Because that's the best way to figure out how your maps work. Because I know
yeah, I almost
I've
wish there
seen
was
them for
something like
Halo
that with.
3.
Yeah, I almost wish there was something like that for HeroScape. Like if you get an overhead camera and you play like 3 rounds on the same map and just see like where it's the most populated parts of a map.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you look at this now, look how more inviting that looks to just go on the land.
I would almost say make, instead of doing that like 7 hex bridge, I would just put the one in.
Just the one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even looking at this now that I got the extra 2 away,
Now if I was by that tree, like if
mhm.
I would definitely go to where the battlements were and just hop on over. But if you're like in the moment and you're like by that tree towards the sides, I would not backtrack to go to those sevens, or not sevens anymore, but those 5 outcroppings. I would just go to two, that two with the one, and then to the island.
Right.
Like,
I just didn't want it to have this area be claustrophobic to where it was,
okay,
because you have one choke point here, which is, I guess, arranged, and then once you hop over, then you're hitting another choke point. Let's say I'm facing you, right? And you were like, all right, you know what? This is easy. Jump in the water, get across, and now you're here. I was blue team, and I walked all the way over here to fight a little bit of your army just to hold me at bay. I defeat you over here, I jump over, and then guess what? You're already here. But you're at
right.
this block right here. You know what I'm saying? Like you have, let's say, um, a melee unit right at this spot where I can't dance anywhere. I can dance in the water, but and we're still, even though this is still the same
It's the
heighted
same
height.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So I guess
think
it doesn't matter too much because then I could just jump back up again anyway.
yeah. To me, if one of the players on this map got to the middle, right,
Hmm.
and um did what you said and tried to intercept, like get on those little bridges To me, that would be a misplay.
Yeah.
I think I mean I could see someone doing it because we're not, obviously we're not like some top tier HeroScape players, we're not, like we're just like a
Yeah, we make
just people
mistakes all
playing
the
the game.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, no. But I could definitely see someone like being on that middle island and getting frustrated because they can't
They can't
hit
do anything. Like, I'm
someone.
stuck here. I'm like, alright, I'm getting a little anxious. I need to go attack something.
Yeah, like I see like blue team amassing all their troops on my border, where those walls are. I
Yeah,
better head him off at the pass before he gets to the center. Oh wait, now I just lost my height advantage because now they can engage me on equal footing,
right.
or they could throw in a melee unit on equal footing with my. Usually, ranged characters tend to be squishier, not always, but sometimes they are. I feel like that makes the map a little bit more balanced now. Now that you did that, both
Mhm.
the walls and the little bridges.
Len, I want to thank you so much for doing this with me.
Oh, of course. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we definitely have to do this again, and gotta bring Matt into this. We're gonna definitely have some good conversations with Matt. Thank you to all of you at home that tuned in to watch us ramble about maps and characters and all other HeroScape talk. I really appreciate it. For more information for us, check out the Instagram page, JoeCrazy3193, and my Facebook page, JoeCrazy3193, to get all the latest updates on our HeroScape videos, as if they're the this VirtualScape talks or the HeroScape spotlights. Go check out Schweppes Cup 2018, and then tune in for more information for Utz Cup 2020, which is in the filming process right now. So, with that said, don't forget, I'm not crazy. I'm Joe Crazy. Have a great night. Peace!
Good night, everybody.